Everybody will stand and do the. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we're just asking you to watch over us this week, help our commissioners to make good decisions for our county, and watch over everyone as they go vote tomorrow and help them make good decisions for our county, our state, and our federal government. In Jesus' name, amen.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I'll make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes from last week.
I'll second.
Motion been moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Make a motion, we pay the claims. There's two of them. One's for $3,500. And the other one is for $107,295.74.
I'll second. Motion been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
A little explanation on that extra one there, the 35. That was yearly maintenance and support fees on a program that we'd sent a check in for several months ago. It never got cashed and came back through, and then we hadn't realized that, and the company said they needed the check before they could do the maintenance that needed to be done right now. So we found that out right after we had cut the rest of the checks last week. I do have adds and abates today. So they're not all consecutive numbers. It is 2023-302 through 304, and then 306, 308, 309, and 311. And the grand total change on that is a negative $2,112.10.
I'll make a motion that we approve adds and abate 302 through 304, 306, 308, 309, and 311 for a negative $2,112.10.
I'll second. Motion been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. David, you got anything else?
No, nothing pressing right now.
AMR?
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom could be here today. We got a FEMA deployment going on with the hurricane.
Thank you.
Since our last report to you last Monday evening, we've only had 8 transports in that time. We've been kind of pleasant. We don't say the Q word. You'll see all of July's numbers, which is also kind of low. Usually in July, we're up in the 75 range. We only had like 61, so it's actually good for the citizens. That means we're not providing service. That's probably a good thing for all the citizens here. The fair went well for us. We didn't have anybody over this weekend that we needed to really transport or take care of. And then next Friday, Saturday, we've got another dedicated unit over there. Any questions for us?
Would you be able to talk about Devlin Road and the need for us to chip and seal that or something along those lines? Not necessarily today, but in the future.
Talk about
Yes.
chip sealing Devlin Road?
So
Yeah, I can.
we've been discussing that a little bit.
We do go out there quite a bit.
Okay.
So yeah, and right now it's just dirt road all the way up there. Whatever's.
Well, what it is, Miami County haven't a mile of gravel yet, but
Do what, sir?
Miami County will still have a mile of gravel if we was to chip and seal ours, but
Right.
think that they could do theirs too, if we do ours, and then gives it a direct shot to 169.
There are some parts of Devlin Road, like 1600 going up,
We're talking north of
2100 to
north of 2100.
north of Parker.
20
Okay.
to the county line.
Yeah, we've got some good calls out there too, and the roads really, in the wintertime, they're kind of tough, get rutted up pretty good, which is hard on our trucks. And we have to slow down, of course, on our responses. It would definitely help us. I think it would help all first responders responding up there.
Okay.
But I'll get with the other supervisors and Dawn, and then hopefully next week we may be able to say a little bit more about it after we talk to our crews.
That'd be good.
Yes, sir. Anything else?
I don't have anything. You guys?
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Fire?
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Hegwald, Linn County Rural Fire and Emergency Management. Sent out the weekly call totals. We had 15 calls, bring our yearly total up to 337. It's been a busy week. Been at the fair, stand by for the activities at night. Have Russell Beth here that would like to also speak.
There's a handful of us attended pipeline training down in Fort Scott, and I believe it was February. Kansas Pipeline Association gives out door prizes through drawings. There's a couple of them got personal gift cards to spend as they like. I happen to be the $1,000 door prize winner. Check's made out to Linn County Rural Fire, and I wanted to present that to Randy today. Thank you, Russell.
Thank you, Russell.
Thank you.
Russell's the captain over at the Blue Mound Station 970. So
What
that's
will you buy without?
if it's okay, I'm not sure with David. I'd like to put this in the special equipment fund. We're needing to update some multi-gas meters and stuff like that. So I think this would be a good place to put that. And so I think that'd be the easiest way to get it back out of there to use it for the gas meters. So.
I think with a specific purpose, we probably could. We'll work something out on it.
There is a letter in there with the problem, says you use it for upgrade.
That's all I have unless you guys have something else.
I did have a question for you on the fire extinguishers. Have we got anywhere on that?
We're waiting on just trying to find the equipment.
Okay.
We can get certified, but without the equipment, it's not going to do us any good.
Dave, do you know when our contract's up with Cintas?
I don't know. I haven't.
And I think we've discussed that. I don't think we're under contract with Cintas. It's just, they hire them, come in to do it. So that's something that could be canceled at any time. Because I know I've talked to David about it. We couldn't find a contract where.
Have we talked to Centus about it? Because they normally have a contract.
They're normally pretty difficult to do.
Yeah.
I've had, I had some uniforms with them and it was kind of difficult. So I know it was a heck of a process. So I just want to be sure that we're on top.
Yeah, that's our hang up right now is just getting the fill equipment. Because like I said, we could put tags on, but if we run into one that needs filled or have problems, we don't have the equipment to do it.
Have you ran across any at all? I mean, do we have any? Sorry.
No, the only one that I could find was up in New York, and it was going to cost more to get it here than the machine cost. So I got contacts with a couple of fire protection companies that I dealt with fire marshal's office. They're trying to help me out, try and find machines, even if it's a used one that could be refurbished or still usable. So.
David, do you know what we spend inside county a year to do the fire extinguishers?
Not without researching it. I don't know.
I think last time I checked it was close to 15,000
A year?
a year.
Will they come to mind one time a year?
Yeah, the fire extinguishers are to be done once a year.
What does the equipment cost?
About 4,000.
4,000. That costs $4 to get it shipped here too.
Yeah, that was the expensive part, was getting it here. And then all our training would be over the phone. That's why we were trying to get a little bit closer machine where they could come down and show us how to run the machine too. So.
think it'd still be cheaper to get it going if we're spending $15,000 a year on Centos.
I agree.
Is that something you can, if you get time, you can try to look into?
Yep,
a
I'll
little more?
push that through.
So I just brought up their record in accounts payable. At this point this year, we've spent right at 6,500 with them.
Is that uniforms for the?
Well, no, that's a different account than
Oh, okay.
uniforms. But some of that says alarm. So I don't think that's all just fire extinguishers. We'd have to look at individual invoices to make sure on all that.
You said alarms?
Yeah, there's something here that's coded as alarm, and
So they have
without
to test the
looking
fire alarms.
Yeah.
So
Something
you have
we
you have a fire alarm system in the health department, one at the courthouse, one at Centerville. They have to come in and test those. It's supposed to be twice a year. So they're also doing that.
Is that something we can do, or does they have to do that?
Now you have to be certified in state to do that and carry a nice set certification. And it's not worth it for what we're doing. And I've talked to Chris about it, and I think David was supposed to check with the insurance company. It's not required in any of those buildings except for the courthouse because of the occupancy. So like the one at the health department, the one at the senior center and Centerville, they're not required. So you're paying for upkeep on a system that's not required, and that's an expense right there.
I think that's something we should probably look into. What do you guys think? I mean, if we don't
have them at the other senior centers or?
Mm-mm. No, and like I said, they're not required, so by code.
Why do we need them?
I agree. I mean, is it something that, we can go around and just, the normal guy pull it and check?
Yeah, it's one of those things, as long as you have them, you have to maintain them, but if they're not there, you don't have to maintain them. So, and I know Chris, I think he's even come up and talked to you guys about it, and I've talked to him about it, removing those ones in those buildings because they're not needed by code, so.
Yeah, we'd still have smoke alarms and stuff
Right.
there. It's just the actual fire alarm system that we're talking about.
And you said year to date, we spent 6,500?
Yeah, but there, like I said, a couple of those, well, it looks like 3 of them at about $726 each were fire alarm inspections. One of those was courthouse. But there's an elderly Centerville and then an annex that are listed there.
Yeah, you have one in here too.
And there was one late last year on the health department that was a $254 charge for an annual. So yeah, that's some things we can work on.
Yeah, I'd like to.
I'd like to get rid of them if
Yeah.
we don't have them everywhere.
So do you, even if they're there, do you have to pull them out, decommission?
Yeah, if it's there, you have to maintain it, so. There was a pull station, it's over by that door in the other part.
And-
If it's there, you have to maintain it, so if you remove those systems, all those parts have to be taken out.
So like, Conley Sprinkler, I know that whenever I was a kid, I used to watch, they used to come to school and stuff. Are they certified to check that type of thing? Or is that
They're certified to do sprinklers, they're
Oh,
not fire
sprinklers
alarm.
only?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Is that something you think you could help head up and try to?
Yeah, and the main part of that's just going to be David checking with the insurance and letting the insurance know, hey, these buildings have this fire alarm, we want to remove it and get them sign off on it, because they may say, well, without it, we're going to raise your rates or something like that. But that's something that I would definitely have David check first before you go to pull them out.
Right.
Because the savings still, what you're paying to maintain them may offset.
You guys good with that?
I'm good with it.
I am.
Check on that, David.
Yeah, I've got a meeting later this month with K Camp, so I can check into it while I'm there.
All right.
All right.
I don't think I have anything else. Do you guys?
I don't.
All right,
Thanks, Randy.
thank you.
Thank you, Randy.
You guys here to talk to us, see what's going on? Yeah. All right, come on up. I see you. I didn't know what was going on.
Good morning. Amanda Snyder, Linn County Health Department. Our numbers for July, we served 167 clients. The email I sent you last week about the Public Health Roadshow, I wanted to let you know that due to low registration, the state has decided to postpone that. So If you had registered, you should receive an email letting you know that it's been postponed. If you hadn't registered, you can just disregard that at this time. When they get new dates sent out, I will send that out to you guys. So we've been busy updating our emergency plans, our policy and procedures. Our back to school immunizations have increased, as well as our WIC numbers. We have a breastfeeding and baby changing station at the fair this week. It's located inside the 4-H building. Anyone is welcome to use this. Within the station, we have breastfeeding resources, diapers, wipes, and sunscreen available. We also put together bags with bug spray, mosquito and tick information, tweezers, and UV bracelets. Some of these are located within that station, but I also talked to somebody on the fair board, and they were going to pass these out at the ticket booths as well. We are hosting the Southeast Kansas Breastfeeding Coalition meeting tomorrow at the Health Department. It is also World Breastfeeding Week. The theme for this year is Closing the Gap, Breastfeeding Support for All. Next week, our nurses are teaching 2 CPR classes for Prairie View staff at the Prairie View School. For this fall, we're working on scheduling our flu clinics at the senior sites, cities, our schools, and then any employers that are interested. We'll also have a flu clinic for county employees as well. We'll provide another drive-through opportunity either before or after hours or on a Saturday. That was well attended last year. We have another event coming up in September that I'm going to have Danielle speak to you a little bit on. She's been heading up this project, and it's something that we're really excited for.
Good morning. I'm Danielle Casey, RN at the Linn County Health Department. So September 17th, we have the privilege of having Becky Savage come and present at all of our high school here in the county, and then she will also do a community presentation in the evening at Lacey School. She has founded the 525 Foundation and speaks on accidental overdoses. She has an MSN in education and 29 years as an RN. She tells a story. Her son, Nick and Jake, both passed away at their home from an accidental overdose. So she has built the foundation off of that to help spread the word of prevention from those. She spreads the message of substance use and prevention, and she speaks with teens, parents, community. She also meets the national health standards that are required for the school districts as well. So that's beneficial to them as well. So she'll be going to the Pleasanton High School, Jayhawk Linn High School, Prairie View High School, and then the community presentation that evening from 6 to 6:45 on September 17th. So anybody in the community is welcome. It's free to come. She also has written a book. She'll have that there as well, and she can do book signings as well. So if any of you guys would like to come, feel free.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
So before Amanda and Danielle get away, I just want to thank them for the use of the trailer this weekend. That helped us a lot getting set up, having 2 trailers out, and Sean and Darren both were out with us Saturday setting stuff up, so that really helped me a lot getting the polling places set up.
Good deal.
Okay, the last thing I have for you, when I was here last, you asked me about our health advisory board. So I just have a little bit to share on that. We had our meeting on the 22nd. We did not have enough in attendance for a quorum, so I addressed the topic of keeping the board together. A little bit of data on this board. So since I've been in this position, we've had 6 scheduled meetings. Only 1 has had enough to conduct business. When Missy was here, there were 10 scheduled meetings, with the first 4 of those able to conduct business. So definitely low participation rate. I feel like meeting 4 times a year, it's hard to go over expenditures and budgets, as well as have them active with personnel matters. It's just hard. It's been difficult. So I asked the board what their feelings were. They were not opposed to keeping the board, but they kind of just wanted to know what your reasoning or what your thought was behind creating the board. Like, what were you wanting to get out of it? Was it just to give the citizens a voice, to make sure we were doing what they wanted to see? Was it more COVID geared? They were just curious what the intent or what your intent of creating the board was.
So I think we just wanted involvement from the community.
Involvement from the community and just getting the feeling from the community what they wanted that was my
Okay.
thoughts
I
anyway.
think majority of them reached out to us and wanted to be on the board too. I mean, I can't remember, we had two from each district.
There's 2 from each district and then an at-large position. So it's not something that I'm opposed to keeping, but I just want it to be beneficial because when you can't really have a meeting, then
How long we had it? What, 3 years?
2 years and 8 months. So in 2 years and 8 months, they've met for 5 hours total. So I'm happy to do whatever you would like. I just want it to be worth everybody's time and be productive.
You guys think?
Well, it don't appear to me that's very beneficial to us. I mean, we're not getting enough participation for, what do you think?
I mean, I agree, and I don't think, keeping them around for like a budget if they don't stay up par with everything else throughout the year. I mean, if it's not working, it's not working. There ain't nothing we can do. It's a voluntary board, and we tried. So
What does it take to dissolve the board, David? Does it?
I don't know if we did that by resolution to create it or how it started.
You did. It was by resolution. I don't,
So it would probably take a resolution to dissolve it then, but we'd have to look into what all we need to put in that. And I don't think that would be a big deal, but
Yeah.
maybe
And we've had trouble filling positions as well,
mhm.
not just, so it's not.
Right. It's, yeah. It's not just getting them to show up, it's finding people that want to serve as well. And when you created it from each district, you had to have a healthcare professional as well as a non-healthcare professional. So yeah, finding somebody who falls into, especially the healthcare category and be willing to serve has, I think, been a little difficult.
I'm okay with, if that's what everybody wants, I don't have an issue with dissolving
I'm good with it.
it. Maybe get that done in the next few weeks, David.
I wouldn't guarantee much of anything for next week at this
I said the
point.
next few weeks, maybe by the end of the month or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's no huge hurry, but
You meet every other month, right? Yours, I mean,
So when it first started, they were meeting monthly, and then before Missy left, they had changed it to quarterly.
yeah, I'm good with moving forward with dissolving it. You guys are. So
it's fine.
we'll just get a resolution made up.
Okay.
And
And not that you would want to come, but you're all welcome to attend our breastfeeding meeting tomorrow if you'd like. We will have good food.
Thank you, Miss.
Or I can text you when it's over and you can come by and get a plate.
might do that.
That's all I have unless you have something for me.
I don't have
I
that.
don't, thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Amanda.
Thank you guys. Have a good week.
You guys' mic's on, you're very hard to hear, even online, every time. And I think we need to be able to have them on or get closer, or something maybe, to have,
They're on.
and it's really hard to hear online even too, so.
All right, I'll go over the sheriff's report. We have total prisoners in is 69, 14 released this past week. 1 farmed out, total farmed in 50, total 911 calls 82, jail contacts 4,501, total calls for service 414, civil service papers served 28, VIN inspections 3, 12 new cases opened, 6 cases closed, and 7 vehicle crashes, no SRO activities because of summer break, 153 bailiff contacts, and 17 livestock out. Last week we had talked about the tow thing. Kevin, we asked him to head that up. He hasn't sent us an email or anything on that, has he?
I haven't seen anything.
All right. Jessica, you got anything?
We received the rural opportunity zone resolution for 2025. This would be Resolution 2024-23. I think David sent it to you. This allows employers in our county to sponsor their employees to help pay for student loans. I've filled this out with the county allocating 0. We do not currently have any employees on the program, and I didn't budget for anything. I can change that if you want me to, but that's what I've done. We've done this for several years. This is just signing it so that employers can still participate in 25.
I think we should keep the program open and allow the employers to sponsor instead of the county sponsoring. I know, didn't we sponsor one?
We did.
It was ours.
He no longer
employee.
works for the county, so we didn't end up actually, he left before we had to pay that bill, so we didn't end up having to, we didn't lose any money on that one. But this is a good recruiting tool. I know some schools use it. It could work for healthcare professionals or pretty much, accounting. Any professional person with a degree can work for an employer. The employer can sponsor that person, and then they get up to $15,000 over 5 years of their student loans paid through this program.
How do we get this out to the business owners, the employers? I mean, do they know about this program?
I think the state pushes it quite a bit. I know we've talked about it. I've discussed it with multiple employers over the years.
Is there any way we can push it out to the employees or employers in Linn County to let them know? How could we do that?
Do we have on our county website, is there like a link where we can go through and see all these grant opportunities that we have throughout the county? I mean, like for the sidewalk thing, I mean, people don't really know anything about it.
I believe they are on the website.
Are they on there?
I believe they are.
Is this on there?
This is not a county sponsored thing, so no, it's not on the website, on our website.
Because we're not allocating any money for it.
Correct.
We're just saying participate.
You can use it if you want to. We're not going to fund part of it.
So the employer funds part of the 15,000 and the state funds part of the 15,000.
And so there's other counties that have said they will fund so much per year.
Yes, some counties budget this, and they will help if there's someone in the county that their employer can't or won't sponsor them, the county will sponsor them. We have not done that historically.
So if we don't approve this, then the employers in Linn County can't participate?
Correct.
Yeah, at the moment on the economic development page on the website, there's a section that says grants that's got some links there, but I mean, not this, but there are some links out there.
We could put this on there also, I guess.
The housing grants are on there as well.
Yeah, I have no issue with signing to participate.
Here, but if you want to pass that resolution, there's a copy.
You have it? Okay.
I'll make a motion that we sign the resolution authorizing participation in the Rural Opportunity Zone Student Loan Repayment Program for the 2025.
I'll second
Been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
it.
Aye.
Is the date on the bottom of that one?
Yeah, I felt good.
Okay. That's all I have.
Have you heard anything on the airport? I know Jim had talked to somebody, right?
I haven't reached back. Yeah, a guy called me last week and then said it'd be, what did I write down, April or tell me, August to be back. I believe August the 9th or something after that. That's when he'd get back in touch with us.
Yeah, we're kind of at a standstill on it, I guess. I mean, I don't really know where we're at, what we're doing. Did we reach out to the state of Kansas about the repayment of the grant? You said they couldn't give us
They're not going to give us a number. No. It's going to be a prorated portion of the amount that we've received.
They said something about the Pappy lights if we got rid of that too. Didn't we get an email on that?
We did. They are, the state is trying to find another airport in the state. They will not let us sell those because it was grant money.
But they can take them
They
and
could,
knock that
they
off.
could give them to another airport, yeah, in the state. Someone has said that they want them though, so we have to hang on to them until someone wants them.
so I'm just confused on
Or you could put them in.
where we move forward here. I mean,
I'd like to wait and see if this,
Alan
Anything.
Brandrews is, you approved that, so they're going to do the survey to split the runway from the agricultural land to try and get the tax exemption.
so do we have to present a plan to anybody, let them know what we're doing, or
Not that I know,
the state, or
not that I
no?
know of.
Not until we have a plan. You're talking about if we decide to sell it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think it's crazy they won't give us a number if we close it down.
he said he'd try to get on the agenda after August the 9th and come down and talk to us. That's what he said in a text message.
So should we just wait until after the August 9th meeting?
Yeah, I guess sometime after August 9th.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I don't think I have anything.
Thank you.
All right, Sean, you ready?
Sean West, Public Works Administrator. Burns, McDonald, Evergy, and Landfill are scheduled to give you an update at 10:30. I know we talked about pushing that out until the requirements were met, but they had some concerns about some timelines and some other information to share with you. So they'll be here at 10:30. The John Deere, the paperwork's done, tractor's been delivered. It has been insured. We checked on the insurance. The insurance covers damage to the tractor. It doesn't cover what you'd think of general liability, one vehicle striking another, or it striking an object, or what would generally be considered a moving vehicle accident. So David assisted us in getting that taken care of it, and it's in use. Wall Street or 554 will be striped within the next 2 weeks. You should have a RFP for Devlin Road. And if you reviewed that and it's agreeable, then we will send that out and publish that this week.
Now, this is the the chip and seal that we can actually line.
I'm sorry?
Is this the type of chip and seal that we can line like we talked about on the, in Anderson County?
You can line it or stripe it. You can line or stripe any chip and seal. You're just not,
This one here don't have the loose gravel on it like the what they did over there. I mean, the state's using it. I don't know what the procedure is, but the state used it on 31 highway.
Well, this asks for the chip and seal bids. It doesn't ask for a specific type of chip and seal bid, or a specific rock, just parameters in that. If we're going to ask for a specific type of rock or anything, we'd need to add that.
What do you guys think? You want to try that or not while we're doing it?
Try it on a new road we haven't done before.
It's an opportunity to see what's happening. It's 3 miles.
I'm in favor of trying something.
See what the cost of it is. I mean, I guess we can have them look both ways, can't we?
Yeah,
Give us a bid on
that's fine.
either way.
I think it's all just, we're trying to get numbers so we can see and talk through.
Talk through what we're doing. and
Right.
We can look at it, see the
That's fine.
The way we've got it wouldn't prevent anyone from,
So how are those, I mean, what,
Well, you guys talked to Anderson County too, or Todd did. I mean, Todd knows what the procedure is. I don't know. I do know there is no dust on this deal when they lay it down. It's just the chip and seal that they used is nothing like what we did.
Yeah, I'm open to trying whatever. I mean,
and they're doing that on new roads that are gravel?
No. I don't know that you can use it, but I mean, that's an option we need to look at too,
Okay.
is what I'm saying.
Because I mean, that's just an overlay over existing chip and seals.
It's overlay over an existing, chip and seal over an existing asphalt.
I mean, that would be my concern, I guess,
It
but
might not
I don't have
work,
a problem.
know, but I'd like to just see what the price was, if they can do it, so if it's available and if we can do it.
is there a way you could put in this this RFP to ask them for a different way? I mean,
we can open it up to other rock options and other opportunities there. The one thing that I would recommend that we do in looking at this is ask for their definition after their bid of warranty or rock loss, or what their guarantee on this surface overlay is. Now, because it's over gravel, they may tell you there is none. On rock loss, they may tell you there's a percentage, but we probably should ask if there's something there as well.
for sure.
But if the overall outline to get it out in the time frame we talked about, if adding those two things and pushing it out is agreeable, then I can get it out this week and we can stick to the timeline we talked about.
I'm good with that.
I'm good with it.
I am too.
Okay. Job descriptions, you should have those as well. Those are going to be, again, a work in progress, because those are everything I can think of in between phone calls and everything else to try to adjust those. So I'm not going to guarantee that every bit of those job descriptions guarantees that we've covered all the duties in those. But if you'll notice, I think I pulled apart not only an administrator, but an operations director, and then I reworked the foreman, and we've got economic development in there as well. So it should give you a good base to go through and make any adjustments or recommendations for adjustments that we can do. You should have an HVAC report. As you remember, we entered into a service agreement with Weber Heating and Cooling, and they were going to not only service the units in the county, but they were going to give us a report on those. If you notice,
I'll have to check the numbers, but I believe there's near 26 units. We'll have to go back and count them. But of those, I believe you'll find that we're looking at 8 of those that are recommended that we start the process in funding replacements or budget to replace immediately.
What's under equipment log?
I'm sorry?
What's that under?
HVAC log.
Equipment, okay.
Well, yeah, the file itself is called equipment log.
So like on the old district court, does that come out of those individual budgets, or do we have, it comes out of the courthouse budget, David?
I don't know that we've gotten far enough that we figured all that out yet.
Okay.
I think
I was just thinking if we need to, I guess we need to kind of figure that out so that we can let our staff know that they're going to need to start building that into equipment reserve or something along those lines, right?
Whereas it came from when we replaced one in each before, if it was to replace one.
Well, at different times, it's been done different ways, so.
I think what I would recommend doing is allowing me to put this list together, put those out to bid individually and as a group so that we get numbers on those so you can hand those numbers out or decide what fund they're going to come from. Because at this point, we've got a number of units, but we don't have anything for a price of those units.
Okay.
So that would give us a number to look at and whether or not we wanted to pull it from a building fund or we wanted to pull it from those budgeted funds for those buildings.
We have all those units on the old jail. Are they usable? They're not too old, are they? I don't think they're very old. Can they be reused or no?
That's a technical question we have to pose to someone that knows about those units. I can't answer that.
I think what you gave us is great. This is exactly what I think we needed. So instead of being blindsided by it.
But if you're agreeable, I'll push out and try to get some numbers and bring back to you. That way we can, again, we can either separate it by department or pull it from one fund, but we're going to know what we're talking about. And it will take a little bit to build that RFP and then get it pushed out.
Right. I think that's a good plan to move forward.
Jim, you good with it?
I'm good.
Okay. Friday, 2 to 4 here at the annex for employees and those members of the public that have worked with Jessica. Our office has set up just an informal stop by as you can between those hours to see her off. We'll have some cupcakes and punch and do that Friday afternoon between 2 and 4. Zook Lane, you had questions on it. I sent you out the information on it and the money that we spent on that over the last several years. And I believe we put rock down most recently on 725. The rock itself was right at $550. Fuel and equipment and man hours loaded into that. Put our all-in cost at $1181.06. You'll see since 2018, we've put rock down on this twice, filled a pothole and cleared some overgrowth. Pretty much maintaining access is what we've done to that roadway and nothing more. 800 Road, I went and drove it, noted several things, put service request in for those. The road itself, it seems well maintained except for near the tracks and the ditches. I couldn't assess the ditches because of mowing. We've hired a mower in that area. We're going to get those mowed and look at those. If you notice, right before the tracks, you've got two sets of hills.
Very bumpy.
Just little rolling hills. And on the top of both of those hills, you've got rocks protruding out that push you side to side. These things need ground down. There's no way to put rock around an obstruction in the road and not have the rock disappear. So we're going to have to grind those down. I put service request in for that. And then right before the tracks on what would be the east side, you've got a severe washboard. And this is something that we've scratched up, taken out, smoothed out, and done time and time again. But this is coming over those hills and then breaking before the tracks, and we're washboarding that little approach. I don't know another way other than putting service tickets in and taking care of it each time it occurs to do it, other than put a hard surface approach to that track to prevent it from happening and occurring in the future. Problem with that is every time we've tried to work with the railroad about butting up to their tracks or the approaches on them.
What do we got, a 70 feet right, or do they got a 70 feet right away? Is that right?
I couldn't answer that, but you're in the ballpark.
I think here a few years ago, we had to deal with them on something. I thought it was 70 feet, but I could be wrong.
In our general maintenance, we take our rock savers, take it out, and surely take that out, can't we?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's a very bad spot.
It is a very severe set of washboards coming off that second hill.
And that road.
And I put in the service ticket to do just that, to take the rock saver, scratch it, and surface it, or regrade it. But what I'm telling you is it's going to continue to occur. It's going to reoccur, and it's going to be a general maintenance issue, and we're just going to have to continue. That's going to be one spot as people break towards that set of tracks on a downhill that's going to washboard.
Remember when you and I went out to Hell's Bend and we walked down the road and we saw on that hill, they had asphalted that. They had cleaned it all off and asphalted it way back in the day and made it a hard surface.
Mm-hmm.
Is that something we can do?
The problem is going to be getting the railroad's permission to butt it up to that track. We could do it on our end until we hit their right of way. And then you're going to go hard surface, gravel into their right of way, and then their track. I'm not for sure unless we did it all the way up to the track that it would improve it, or it may create something where somebody knows there's a hard surface and they come at it at speed and then break on that gravel patch in between. I wouldn't want to create a hazard. But yes, on our end, we could. It's coordination with the railroad and getting permission
That
to.
spot out there, Hell's Bend, looked like they put a lot of time or effort or energy into it. It just, I mean, and it looked decent. And is that something we can do how are they going to grind down the shell rock that's coming up through the road?
Milling head.
Oh, the milling head?
And that's the only thing that we can, the only tool we have that is capable of that, but I'm going to have to get with Todd because we may have to change out the teeth on that milling head to do that. But I'm sure if we do that, that we'll find several other places that we can use that, because that's not the only two places where large rocks are coming up through the road.
2 more miles and it's the same way, yeah.
Yeah. But that's a service request we put in, and it's something they're going to work towards. The washboards, we can go out and put the rock savers to, but those rocks, that's something that I'm going to have to work with Todd and make sure we've got the right milling head, teeth and everything, and that we take those out.
Would like a AB3, like a really compactable deposit not help? I mean, would that work? I don't know. I'm just trying to figure. That stuff's like 95% compactable, isn't it? Then wetting it down and it turns almost to concrete, doesn't it? Like an AB3.
Problem is every time it wets down, It does the same thing. You know how it is if you're driving on it. So every time it wets down, it pumps that water out through that silt material and then, but we'll continue to look at it. Service requests are in on that. And we're working on that roadway.
Hey, back to Zeus Lane. I'm surprised that road's not been vacated over the years. There's one house back there.
There is one residence on that roadway.
And then there's a pasture that, it'd be to the west that has access kind of from the road. There's a house on the corner, but that's off of 1100 road or address, I believe. It's an old ran down house anyway, but.
Well, I was going to talk to you about that when we talked about the next section as well. And I'll get down to it. You got a map sent out to you of all the roads that we worked, and we spoke about this last week, that I believed, as an oversight on my part, that we weren't asking the computer the right question. Things just as smart as the question you ask it. So we went back and Joyce and Pam got together and they pulled the map up and they asked it which roads we had done and which roads we had not done. That's something we hadn't done before, is we look at the percentages of what we have done and I report them every week, but we didn't ask what have we not done. What we have not done after 73% of the roadways to date are roadways that are not through roadways. These are dead-end roadways, minimum maintenance, vacates, and sections of border lines that are not ours that were in the computer. We have completed all of the through roadways, at least with one or more passes in the county. So to say 73% of the roadways are done, it's 100% of the through roadways. What is left is just like Zook, this is a dead end lane. And the question to you is, how important are stats compared to staying on those through roadways? I don't believe by what I'm hearing that you want us to start working minimum maintenance and dead end roadways over the through roadways.
Well, and that's where I'm at is, I was kind of taken back by this road getting done. Because I rented that pasture for years and county never did any work on it. And then we have this flood, we have all these issues, and then now it's re-rocked and all this, and we still have issues over, everywhere. I'm just confused on where our priority lie, I guess. I mean.
So let me understand this, I guess. You're saying 27% of the roads that we're supposed to be on, we're not like, I guess what you're saying. These dead end roads is 27% of our roads out there
Are dead ends, vacates,
that we
or
probably haven't touched, is what you're saying. I mean,
that we haven't worked.
Okay.
Or at least our computer system shows we haven't worked since the incident.
That road Zeus Lane was redone because it was a work order, right? I think that's what I read.
Yes, and the work order originally was trying to move farm equipment in and overgrowth over the roadway, making it impassable. But once they got in there, they did lay rock to make it passable as well.
So when a work order comes in, I mean, do we pride ourselves on getting it done as fast as we can, or do we have it, the priorities, I guess, is still where I'm at. I mean,
They all go out to the foreman. Each foreman has a list of service requests. Those service requests are prioritized by the foreman who works that district, not by us, because the foreman knows what he's got in that district. And we obviously aren't boots on the ground as they are, so they prioritize those requests in getting to those. We do not set the priority for those.
I mean, it's like culverts, and other things too, but we pull the grader off to do things like this. I just think that the grader stays on the road. There's a designated day during the month or 2 or 3, whatever it takes. Kind of like we do on the calcium on the roads for dust control. We designate that week or whatever to get that type of stuff done. Can we not, would that not make sense to do that?
I think they do pull equipment and line up multiple culverts or entrances at one time, so they don't pull manpower or equipment sporadically. I know that from talking to the foremans on multiple occasions, they set up a group of locates, get those locates done, and then they move the equipment. Now, as far as other service requests that may pull time or priorities away from their task, a lot of them are like the lagoon. I had that boom mode so we could finish the piping and keep the weeds down up there while we're waiting to finish that project, so we stay in compliance with the state. So they pulled the boom mower from that area for one day and went around the park and boom mowed up there. But as far as pulling equipment to do entrances and other things, I think they do prioritize those and they set them up in groups.
Yeah,
As far as Zook Lane or the other dead-end roadways or vacated roadways or minimum maintenance, if we need to take the map that we sent out to you and at some point rework that and come up with a group of recommendations for vacating roadways that are of no service to anything but one specific landowner that should be private driveways, we can reevaluate that. There will be a need for, once we find those, there'll be a need for some legal work because we obviously will have to do some by resolution, some by other legal means. But I don't think it, from what I gave you as far as a map, that we can't go through that, have the foremans look at each one of those areas and go, is this still a viable roadway and should this still be on our list?
what about 900 Rib Culvert status?
Culvert status on it is the engineer is waiting on the Corps of Engineers. We've got the first permit. He's waiting on the Corps of Engineers for the second permit and looking at sourcing our piping and our supplies for that while he's giving us for lack of a better term, a construction design for us to put it in.
So he's just reaching out to suppliers, but I feel like that's going to be our next huge obstacle. There is our wait time on our equipment or material.
I'd have to talk to him whether the material's the wait time there or the Corps of Engineers for that second permit.
And have they already okayed the permit and the process and
The first permit, which was
so should we
water resources, but my understanding is we're waiting on the Corps while he is sourcing those supplies. So service request received from 1/1/24 to current is 360. Request closed 326. Open still are 34. Service requests this week. 10 and 5 are still open. Activity cost by location. 1,275 roads, 926 complete, resulting in 73%, which the remaining are not through roadways. South Shop report, the unit from last week, 300, the F250 was in need of repair. All of the issues have been resolved with the truck and is now back in rotation. Mike fixed a field entrance on 1525, cut new drainage in the hill along the roadway and down the edges of the field entrance. Our hope is that this will mitigate the erosion problem in the area, and we have locates out on 6 tubes to be replaced next week. The leased John Deere tractor was delivered Wednesday afternoon and was sent out to mow on Friday morning after paperwork issues were resolved. Alec mowed in the morning and wheel came off the mower deck. This is being resolved. The mower will be back in service Monday morning. We are continuing to mow out blacktop roads and we'll move to gravel as soon as the blacktops are done. It is my anticipation that once we have all 3 mowers on gravel roads, we should be able to knock out the mowing in good time. Mike brought this grader or his grader to the shop for some maintenance and to stage it for the tractor pull Sunday. Cat will be servicing the 963 track loader, which is RE316, at the landfill next week. Craig is looking into moving 953 loader to our shop to see about fixing it. As I go through these, you should have seen a group of photos broke down in from South Shop, North Shop, and Pleasanton on the work that was done. Some of that roadway work was in process while I was taking those photographs. You'll notice the North Shop photos seem to be completed roadway projects. The other 2 shops, I think Pleasanton may have been some of the work completed, but the South Shop was still in progress while I was photographing it. North Shop ditched over 3,000 feet of 1,800 west of Yancey, replaced 3 culverts, replaced 1 culvert on 1,900 road ditching project, and cleaned out a cement bridge. Used the excavator to mulch and trim trees on Nelson Road. Normal road grading on operations continued daily. Pleasanton mowing lagoons, mower repair, grading, and culvert installation. Again, you should have photos on most all of that work. Transfer station. You should have a supplement to the agreement for services from Terracon for a change of scope of services and fees. This is, as we talked about, the going from the design that we used for permitting, which was the concept design for our cell expansion, to now doing construction grade design and engineering for the second phase of this project. This change of service is a request to add an additional $25,000 to the service agreement for time materials.
Where was that at, Sean? What was it under? 'Cause I don't remember seeing it.
It was either under solid waste or Terracon. I cannot remember what it was labeled as. I don't have that in front of me, but I do have hard copies.
You guys have it?
Agreement for you. That agreement covers not only the construction engineering, but also they've included in them subcontracting out the surveying cost in that agreement.
That was a $25,000 increase.
Yes, I believe it's 2/3 down the page.
Supplement to agreement is being submitted to request additional budget, 25,000.
And this is on the cell expansion.
That's correct. And as I said, this gets you the construction level engineering or design, the surveying, and the
Can I see that, please?
specs to send it out to bid for the RFP that will need to be built to send it out to bid for contracting.
What was our original portion that we had already set aside for Terracon?
The original first agreement for Terracon, I can't answer that unless we pull up the billings on that.
And we've got multiple invoices with Terracon in here, so I'm not sure what all to give you in a total of that without looking at an agreement.
I want to say it was like 25 or 26 the first time.
I think you're in the ballpark of the first
We
one.
don't keep a log of what each job is as far as the cost of what we're given. Is it?
We have it in our payables, but
I'd like to see that myself. And we don't guess on what we're doing there.
You might have already said it. I was looking at something else. How come wasn't included?
this is the second half that we discussed. The first half was the design engineering that was used to gain the permit from the state and submitted for the permit. The second half is the construction grade engineering that will be used to build the project, also including the surveying and the details needed to put the project out to bid.
So you're saying we paid 25,000 first, then I guess, is it?
I'm sorry?
We've already paid them 25,000, then is what you said. You said this is the second half, so
We've already paid for the first half of the engineering, which
25,000 is what we paid then, I guess.
I'll have to look up the number, but I believe you're in the ballpark, yes. I did not bring the original agreement in again.
I'd like to see it, but you guys see where we're at with it.
I mean, we're not going to move forward with the cell expansion.
Well, we are, but wouldn't it be nice to know where we're at?
Hmm.
I mean, dollars and cents was. I know y'all are moving forward with it, right?
Yeah. I mean, are they going to come in with another one, another 25,000 after this one? Or-
No, I believe
Future services may include.
he came in and spoke to you directly and went over these items. That's why he's not here today and merely sent the agreement or scope change to me to bring to you.
I think I was out of town when that happened,
But before he does this work or we sign the scope, if you want him back in here to explain that, I will ask him back in here next week. I'm sure he's available and ready to come speak to you.
I would like, on these future services, I mean, there's quite a few items in there that
We still haven't gotten to.
And if he needs to come and explain those, he should be the one to do it, because you'll get the direct information from him. But
yeah, I'm just,
again, because he spoke to you prior to, he made an assumption, so did I, and he sent the scope for me to deliver. But if he needs to further explain it, then I'll have him put on the agenda.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Then we'll bring all the billing in at the time and he can discuss where he's at and what may be left.
yeah, I'd like to see future, an estimated price for these future services that
Okay.
doesn't fall under the other two agreements, I guess. Seems like a lot of items.
I will ask him to come in next week and meet with you.
He met with you guys after the sheriff's budget that one time, right? Is that what that?
No. Was it?
I'm sorry,
When did he meet with us?
when?
Like 2 months ago?
I'd have to look it up, but I believe it may have
I
been
wanna
6
say-
to 8 weeks.
I want to say that was on the tipping floor, the one you're remembering, not the cell expansion.
There was one I was out of town and I didn't.
Yeah, the tipping floor would have been Call Valley,
Right.
and Terracon would have met with you prior to the permit being issued from the state about his design before we submitted and sent it to the state and got the permit. Looks like total services for Terracon for this project, 27,589.15.
That's what we paid so far? What,
Pulled out.
when he talked to us, what was he estimating? Or what did we, was there a number thrown around?
Well, he spoke directly to you and said up front, so I wasn't party to that conversation when he went over those things. I know I've had several emails back and forth and phone conversations with him about the next phase of this project after the permitting and what it would do to make sure that the engineering would also provide me the information that if I had to let the project, that I could put it out to bid and would have all of that information available to me, which was the part that concerned me the most, that if I had to put it out to bid, rather than have the engineer do it, that I would have the information available to do it.
Yeah, I mean, these are so unknown. I mean, I don't really like that, cost of future estimates for these future services will be provided upon request. I mean, we don't have the, you know what I mean? Like, we kind of got us by our, I'd like to see an overall number of where we think we're going to be at.
What it's actually going to cost them.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's stuff we probably need to do or have a contingency fund set aside for that type of stuff that,
Well, again, if you'd like him to come in again, it's been some time since you met with him, so.
you're saying.
All right, so I've got it pulled up right here. So it's out on our SharePoint, under projects. Landfill. So if you go back to the home screen. So this one was dated January 31st. When was this one? January 24th, 2020, or February 6th, 2024 is when this one's from, for the cell expansion. And we had at that time 23,000 plus an additional budget request of 5,000 to respond to KDHE. So 1227 or yeah, 1227 272 Terracon is what it's titled as. Can I see that one again? Thank you.
So for the preparation of, yeah, so all those maybe future services are what we're being billed for this 20.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to just see a total all-around number, and then maybe some kind of contingency set aside for future stuff. I just don't like how there's a whole list of future items that could come up, but I mean, I don't know if we need it or not. It's not my profession.
Well, then I'll ask him to come in and direct those directly to you next week. That way, as far as the line that you're reading, as far as additional services, he can explain those and what those might be.
Okay.
Because certainly I can't speak to those at all.
Okay.
You also should have just got a bunch of PDF files. Those are your compactor permits for the next 12 months. Those were just sent in to you so that you'd know that all of those sites were re-permitted. And we're waiting on the electric for the gates at the park. The numbers and totals that I've given you in the past, you can add $110 a month to that, and that is the new service fee for that shop location to have internet at that location. So that 110 would be an additional cost we would have to, again, push out to the customer to defer that cost for each one of those sites or that gate service. The only number we do not have is what it's going to cost to install the electrical to where the gates are at, because the install, because we're already a customer, the fiber install is not going to cost us anything. The gates.
I had a citizen, have a good point. Kind of like how they do that out there at Linn Valley. If we have one electric gate going in that comes up, and then the exit is a road strip that you can't back over, would that save us any money?
The answer.
Because right now we have are we figuring double gates, or what's the design?
Yes. If we were to do that, right now, I'm figuring the gates going right here, the closest area to the shop where the power and the fiber will be. This is the split that goes down to the marina.
Mm-hmm.
This goes down to the horse trail. This also leaves you a large circle driveway for campers and other trailers that, for whatever reason, choose not to go through the gate to turn around. You'd have to have an area for those, or they back up everybody behind it. If what you're talking about is one way in, one way out, and taking out the gate on one side, the only way I know to do that is to come back here, put your gate here, access on one side, exit on the other, which would work, but you're now going to run that electric and that fiber service from that shop all the way up to that division at that road, which is going to add not to your monthlies, but it's going to add to your original cost to install all that.
And to do it without moving it, we'd have to widen the roadway.
It's a 2-lane road, right?
Right, but you've got the gates set up.
There may be where I was planning at putting it, in order to get it there may be some roadway adjustment needed. I don't know what the control boxes and the gates themselves would demand as far as space. So we know it'll be another 110 a month, and then whatever it's going to cost to run that electrical. If you're talking about breaking down one gate and putting a tire strip, that can be done.
I don't want to.
I don't know.
More complicated than it is.
I don't know whether that's more expensive than the gate. Certainly, it's more effective than the gate, because at the moment you put it in, it doesn't have to be maintenance, and it doesn't have to have electric, and it doesn't have to, you don't have to worry about an arm breaking, somebody, hitting the arm and breaking the mechanism and us having to repair it. So yes, long-term, that type of object or device would be much better on one side.
I was thinking putting a camera up and seeing how much traffic we got that isn't fine, just to see where we're at.
I mean, I'm not opposed to anything. I don't want to keep throwing in.
And even at that, I mean, have people talk to the gates, use the money for the gates and put in more camping spots with full hookups. If we seen that,
I mean, I'm all about forward progress. And
what we, instead of spending the money on the gates, put a camera up and see where we're at, how much we're actually losing.
I still think that's my biggest holdup with the whole thing too.
Let's pick a camera up and see what,
So wouldn't take much to do that, would it? Camera?
That's going to be an IT question about where you put it, because remember, there's no fiber at that building yet. So, and that's where the division of the roadways go. So in my mind, if it was like an SD card that we could pull and look at or something like that, maybe. I don't know about the connectivity, but I can certainly reach out and find out.
I don't think we should make it any more than it is. I think
Could just see it in a few months.
There's got to be a solution. Let me reach out to IT and find out.
I just don't want this to keep dragging out. I don't want to throw in another wrench and it be another 4 months to figure this out. I just want to get answers. So that's where I'm at. Or a plan or something, because right now we're just kind of rolling with it.
Noxious weed spraying this week and their directors meeting. Maintenance senior center update. They're eating lunch there today.
Oh, I have pictures of that too. I'll show you guys. It turned out really well.
There are going to be some punch list things that I'm going to have to work with them on. And I had a question posed to me not only by you, but by them last week. I believe Commissioner McCullough asked if there was something we needed to do for the church. I was asked by one of the seniors who was also involved with the church if we would be willing to clean or steam clean or pay for the steam cleaning of that area, to basically hand back the church what they gave us, which was a clean carpeted area that was well maintained. So if you're agreeable to it, I will reach out to them, ask them to contract it and send the invoice for the steam cleaning to us.
I would be in favor of it.
I'm good with that.
Yeah. And I have a bunch of pictures of the inside of it, but next week I'll try to put together something before and after of what it looks like, and we can put it up there on the TV.
Okay. And I do know the seniors are working out. We've got some small things about what goes where, how much can you plug in, what GFI is going to pop. So we're going to look, we've already readjusted some of it. We're going to look at what's there, do the punch list stuff. And I expect in a week or two that they're going to want to ask you down there to take a look at the place and have lunch, or at least meet down there and walk through it. But they are very well aware that there are things that still need to be checked after they get in, and things that we're going to find after they get in. And they are also working themselves diligently on, we moved everything over. We cleaned the large items and set them in. They are going through all of their property, their kitchen materials and everything, and cleaning and shelving all that themselves. So at this point, there's still some work to be done before they ask anybody to come meet with them, but they are eating there.
Good.
And the inspection, as far as the food service inspection goes through Ottawa, it's already been requested. It'll be set up at some other point and it'll happen on their timeline. Commissioners, if you could give me 5 minutes executive session for non-elected personnel, that is everything I have for you today until we get to the discussion on the burial permits.
Sean, I got a few things for you, for everybody. Walker Flatwork did accept that bid or he did accept our approval of that. He's supposed to give me something hard in writing. He hasn't got that yet. He's supposed to send over my email. I'll keep an eye for it and send it to David and send it on over. I did talk to, Job, I think his name is that Jeb or Job, with SCK Mental Health. I stopped by there and then called him on the phone. I think he sent David something, David, with some questions. I said he needed to answer the questions. I think if you guys got
David
that.
sent that out.
And I spoke with Dr. Allen with the STARS program. I believe he was still trying to work some things out on his end with the questions we had, but he wanted to know if we could put a hard date that he had to have an exact number in.
For budgeting
Budget.
purposes, I need to publish the budget in 2 weeks. So by the meeting 2 weeks from today, I've got to have everything plugged in the form and ready to go.
And he said, I just had a brief conversation with him. He said, if anybody wants to reach out to him, more than welcome to. We talked for a little bit, so I'll let him know that 2 weeks from now we have to have for sure numbers. So.
And at that point, once it's published, we could still reduce budgets if we needed to, but
I think he just wanted to know.
we'll need a maximum by.
He just wanted to give some time to answer some questions. So he had a few other obstacles in the way he was waiting on.
You said Walker on the work over here.
Walker Flatwork, Brian.
Walker flat work. Okay.
And Sean, I saw something in here for the economic development director position, just job description.
Correct.
I haven't looked at it yet, but she said on the STARS board, correct?
Yes.
One of them. Yeah.
And then we just had made the Historic Society. She kind of heads that up too, right?
Yes, she's got several boards. I think she sent David a list of boards that she sets.
And those were just two that
Yeah. And there's one.
Regional development.
An email I just got a few minutes ago from Jessica. There is a Regional Planning Commission board meeting on August 8th, so 3 days from now. And she was asking me if I could attend or see if the commission would appoint someone to that board. There's no way I can get away this week to go to a meeting on the 10th or on the 8th.
At what time?
10 o'clock. And I assume that would be down in their office. I mean, we can look into the details, but
They're generally always in it.
yeah. But I think you would need to appoint someone to be a representative to that board to be able to attend that meeting. Even, I suppose even if it was a temporary appointment would probably work for now, but.
it was for, which one was it for?
The SEK Regional Planning Commission.
I'm not available that day.
I can't this week.
I'll have to check whether or not we have an alternate on that currently.
Well, I'm thinking that may be me, but I can't get away this week either.
Yeah, I'll have to check to see if we have an alternate or who that might be or.
Will they allow a proxy to set in for like a video call or something, like a Zoom?
I have no idea.
Is that something Jessica can look into?
I know she's attended by Zoom, so that's available generally for those meetings.
I'll be heading north. I mean, I could do it. I could set in on a Zoom meeting probably, but I couldn't make it in person. So I guess if we can figure detail that on it, I have no problem setting on the Zoom meeting, but if you guys are good with that.
Can she go ahead and attend for us this week since she's still working?
Her email says she's no longer on that board, and it's the way she worded it. I'm no longer on the board. No, and it says I'm the alternate.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know why, if nothing else, you couldn't temporarily appoint someone to attend this week's, at least to get through this meeting in case there's something important that comes up at that one we need to know about.
When's the meeting?
Thursday at 10. Let me check something real quick.
We might be able to, while you guys are dealing with some other stuff, you've got your Evergy, Landfill stuff coming up. Look into this a little more before the end of the meeting and see if we can sort it out.
All right, you need 5 minutes. What'd you need?
Non-elected personnel.
We got one until 10:30.
Do you need that? Can you wait until after, or?
I can do it whenever you're available.
Okay, we'll do it after the Landfill and Evergy. They're here, so it ends 10:30, so.
Okay.
All right, Evergy and Landfill, you guys want to come up and introduce yourselves and we can speak?
I'm Rob Beeler. Met on site with you, all commissioners, last week? Week before last. And I represent Evergy. I'm the manager of network and telecom for Evergy. New position for me. I've been there since, I've been in this role since mid-March. So, FYI.
So right now where we stand is oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I can introduce myself. I'm Mike Mahoney. I'm a engineer at Burns & McDonnell. You here to help out, answer any questions, or just support any tracking or reporting any way I can.
I was Scott Niemeyer. I'm with Landfill, one of the owners there, and here to do whatever we can to get this right and get things fixed for you guys.
So we met you guys all on site, I believe, and we had a pretty good discussion about moving forward, and I think everybody was on the same page. Now we're just kind of trying to figure out the permitting process, correct? I mean, that's kind of where we're at, and
Yes. We've got a proposal for you to look at. Yeah.
Yep. I didn't know what you had to present, so I just wanted some stuff.
Thank you.
Look at the front cover, that's what we went through, and I know you guys got an original map that was off some GPS coordinates and so forth, but thought some areas could be in conflict. We went ahead and located everything out, rotted it, toned on it, and did some better measurements. That first map is what we find that could be out of compliance due to limited right-of-ways or existing utilities or whatever that might be. So what we want to propose is to kind of break the project up into 4 phases. Kind of work in each phase alongside your people, whether it be your road crews, what they got going on so we can get out of bed, or your inspectors, what's going to be allowed for variance or what. Some of those areas, if you see, we're kind of through some S-curves, some real tight corridors, and some other utilities pushing us into variances. So I thought we'd break it up into those 4. Finish what's left in those phases, get everything cleaned up, tied in, and we'll move on, get you guys blessing. Each, resident property owner, and that's where we're working. Things are getting tightened up, buttoned up, and moved on.
Okay.
And then the base maps behind there, and then each of them will start to finish, so you guys kind of know where those areas are, so you know where we'll be. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right.
So from Evergy's perspective, obviously, we paused. It was my decision to actually pause the work here in Linn County. In order to complete work on the Missouri side before the Missouri rate case. And then as soon as we got that complete, which was June 30th, we were to come back here and finish up in Linn County. So that's one of the reasons for the delay and having stuff hanging out in the road and things like that. I was not aware of the egregiousness of that. We've kind of shored up that process. I've met with Burns and Mac, obviously the Landfill owners, to make sure that we're going to be in compliance and doing whatever the county's necessary, thinks is necessary. I think one of the mistakes that I've identified was, as we work through this, the process is when we run into those limited right-of-ways, should be coming in and getting variances, so that you're all aware that that's happening, why it's happening, and what is happening. So the team is committed to doing that.
Okay.
I know there was a question asked about having a third party. I would just simply say Evergy is paying Burns and Mac already as a third party for us, and we're happy to co-join the county in there, and any information that we get or any information you'd request, you can utilize Burns and Mac as well. I mean, their sole job from the engineering perspective is then to go validate and verify, seek the variances that are necessary. And so I would simply propose, if you have any questions, you can deal directly with them, or you can deal through me and I with them. But ultimately, we want to make sure everybody's on the same page, and we'll make sure the county and citizens of the county are satisfied and happy with the work Evergy's doing. And so you have my commitment that we will be involved until it is complete. And Sean has my personal cell phone number. I've told him he can call me at any point in time and with any issues, and I will immediately address those. And then lastly, I just want to state the importance of the work. So Evergy has two primary data centers. One is in Topeka, Kansas at the BNSF Railroad data center. That's our primary data center. Our secondary data center is in 801 Charlotte in Kansas City, Missouri. Right now, the Wolf Creek Nuclear Power Plant has fiber going to BNSF and has connectivity there. Linn has connectivity up north and into the Kansas City data center, and also has, obviously the two data centers are connected east to west. What we don't have is we don't have redundancy for that nuclear power plant's connectivity. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission wants that. Obviously, we want that. And we don't have redundancy at Linn as well. And so this is the last leg of the route. This will actually put fiber connecting Linn. So Linn has the north route and the south route to get back to our primary data center or our secondary data center. And Wolf Creek would enjoy the same. So that's the reason that the fiber is going in the ground. Normally we try to do aerial and on our transmission poles whenever that's possible. This is one of those legs that it's just not possible. So we need to have buried fiber, and it's something fairly new to Evergy the last few years, not something we've done long-term in the past. So.
Okay.
Yeah, if you guys in my car, said you can reach out to me anytime. Questions or concerns or
Thank you, Mike.
anything like that.
So what your plan moving forward, I know that we're kind of at a standstill now because you guys don't have a approved permit. And I don't want to slow you guys down, and I didn't even want to get in here and micromanage and do all this, but that's what it came to. I reached out to many of people, and I kind of undertook this project to try to get it dealt with because I had a bunch of people call me. I think we all did, but we just weren't getting no answers, and so that's what it came to, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. But I think we got a good plan moving forward, like, good relationship with you guys, and I think we could make this happen. Your phases, what are you guys proposing so you guys can get going again?
So ultimately, I know you mentioned, and we met Jesse on site, and he's digging the ditches out so that your runoff is good. So we committed to wherever he's going, staying in front of him so that he's not having to dig around the fiber, we get it in the ground. Then we're not interrupting his work or slowing that down. So I would literally just ask of Sean, where's Jesse at first? We'll complete that phase first. Make sure that everyone's in agreement. We've got sign off. Happy to have Sean be the liaison back to the commission. And, assuming we have sign off, then we'll do the next phase and that would be whatever order you want. Ultimately, we want to get it done and we work with them so that we can break it down, make sure everybody's in agreement before we proceed. The goal here is that you're satisfied, the citizens are satisfied. So if you've got one area versus another that's more important to the county for whatever reason, then we're committed to doing that.
Yeah, I threw that together, just kind of a starting point. I mean, if there's nothing else you guys want to do, we can do whatever. It's all got to be done. I just thought it's simpler to break it up like that when you're dealing with, an area and get it tight and get everybody knows where we're working. If you're getting calls, hey, they'll be there next month or whatnot. And then for people locating, the other telecoms and so forth, when we spread them out that far, it's hard for them to keep up. And if we can all stay in a congested area and work to finish that up, I think you'll see the best progress quickest.
I like breaking it up into the phases.
When I look at what they handed you and the troubled or variance areas with narrow right-of-ways and things seem to match what Jesse brought me last week. So
Okay.
Jesse's ready to go and ready to meet with them and look at these troubled areas. And I think Boy Court's the first area we're going to work out and would be the first area we start. Very vibrant.
I think we're all understanding that there's going to be variances, but if you could put it in our terms, we're not architects or engineers, and it's hard for us to read some of the as-built, well, the last ones that came to us. We'd just be able to have something where we can give it to our foremen and say, hey, this is why they had to do what they did here. Watch out. I mean, you know what I mean? That's where I'm at. What do you guys think? I mean,
I know there'll be places that you cannot, you're going to have to change where we go. But I'll tell you what I seen was there was multiple places down through there that we wasn't even close to the contract. That's what concerned me.
Right, I agree. It was very concerning to me, and as I'm sure Scott and Mike can attest, we had a come to Jesus meeting about getting it done, getting it right, making sure we're on the up and up. We've got the variances that we need. They're recorded and explained, and everyone's in agreement that we're doing it. As I said before, Evergy's not going anywhere. This is a significant improvement for Linn and its communications, and as Wolf Creek as well. So,
and I'd like to see in place where we give the variances, if that creates such trouble down the road that you guys are,
yes,
you understand that, and
yeah,
you're responsible for moving it to, if it's something.
And that is true. We are always responsible for that.
I understand that.
So I will commit Evergy to absolutely repairing it. And if there's anything that would be out of compliance in the future with this route that would come up later, that's going to fall 100% on Evergy. So we normally, when a county widens a road or something like that, we have one at 350 and Old Nolan Road in Jackson County, and they're doing a bunch of road work and widening it, and we have to come in at our expense, and we buried fiber there 2 years ago, and we've got to move it. And it's a significant cost and a significant move, and probably a mile and a half worth of fiber that we've got to replace.
and you guys are just getting the end of the deal here. I mean, it's not, we don't trust you guys or anything like that. I just feel like we have to have some MOA in place or something, because we've had people come in here and promise this type of stuff before. And I'm not saying this is how you're going to do it.
Sure.
But, I just, for future committees and stuff, so everybody's on the same page, is writing in place, saying what we're going to do. Would you guys agree with that?
I do.
Just so we're all on the same page. You don't have to come in here after next election is kind of where I'm at. So
Okay.
I don't know what we need in place, an MOA or what, I don't know.
I think to expedite things, if I could get just an email from you listing out the phases that we're going to do, that will work out the variances and the assurance that the variances will be recorded, logged and delivered to us, and any variance, my understanding, any variance or any move in any area that doesn't meet permit requirements would be Evergy's responsibility in the future, and we get moving on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of.
If I can get that in an email, I can get these guys with Jesse, and we can get working in Boyd for it.
Okay.
Get this going.
I know we had
I'm in favor of
a
that.
local company reach out to you guys. Hopefully you guys came to a good agreement on that.
The People's Telephone?
Yeah.
Yeah, my understanding is that's been resolved.
Yeah, it's been resolved.
All right. Well, just making sure, and I appreciate you guys coming in. I know we're not trying to hold you up, and we just.
So
It's
if
been
I
a long
clarify
time.
that, as long as I get that in an email, they've got an extension of work in phases. I'll report back those phases of progress to you, and we've got an active
You're
extension.
gonna break it out into 4 phases, I guess that's what.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we, and all I'd need is I can put that email together as long as you just tell me where Jesse would want us to start. Then we'll start in that area, clean it up first, and we can adjust from him. And I don't know if you want to go over with him first, the phases, and if he says start in 2, go to 3, then 1, then 4, what his schedule is. I'll work with whoever. We got to do it all, so.
I'll have Jesse here before we leave, and we can hash that out,
Okay.
put it down. I believe if you've got time, we can have this done. You can send me an email.
We're here.
And as soon as I get that, you're telling me you're good with the extension, and we'll start the phases.
Okay.
Come in and visit us when it's over, I guess,
Okay, will do.
if you could.
How long do you project it'll take to get done?
What's left is a lot of rock. So it's gonna take a little bit of time. The areas that we hadn't put in place where they pulled off. I hate to guess, but 60, 90 days, hopefully, that's what I'm
I
putting.
understand. I just asked.
You know how rock is,
I know what it is.
It's hard.
dirt, I'd tell you what we get every day, but some of the
It's
rock,
hard.
and then it's gonna depend on kind of what we look at, and if they're able to say, yeah, I see why you're there, we're gonna do a variance, or no, let's do this, let's move it, then it'll take a little more time as well, so.
Okay.
One thing that going out there right now, and you can see where it's at, the thing that you can't see is where the existing utilities are, that might have pushed us out in that
Now,
road.
will there be some that you go on to private property or not? Is it?
We don't have any right to be on private property, so.
Didn't know if you
Yeah,
did.
it's gotta be in the right of way somehow, some way, so we'll figure that out, but, there's spots where, other utilities pushed us there because there was a cliff or edge or 4-foot high wall,
I
so
just wondered.
we'll work
if
through
there
those.
was Private property, anywhere to go there, I mean.
If we do private property, we have to get an easement from the
I know
landowner.
you'd have to, but I mean, yeah, that's what.
Yeah, the goal is to stay in the right of way and stay out of your guys' way and just make everybody happy and get it in.
Yeah, we'll have one of our person people in the field verifying it, recording variances, so anything that we need to communicate with you, we'll obviously be able to do that.
And we're not trying to micromanage this. That's not our job either, tell you how to do your job. There was a lot of light shined on this thing, and so we had to work it out. So I appreciate you guys coming in and working with us and getting it done, so.
We certainly appreciate you making an exception and giving us the time today as well.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you, guys. You guys, anything from us? Olin?
To Jesse Burnett while we were up here. He said that we really do need at least they be pushing to have quorum. But she also told me that if we want to just appoint someone for now until her position is filled or whatever you decide you're gonna do there, and then you. But we do need action by the commission to get somebody today so they can have that meeting this week and make sure they have a forum.
So, and you can sit in on that one, Danny?
Yeah, I believe so, on Thursday.
Okay, I'll make a motion to appoint Danny as our temporary member to the SEK Regional Planning Commission.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? And Jessica can she's listening, can just send me the link and that's how I get.
She told me she would, you guys took action and they will send you.
Okay, all right. All right, we have a motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Or Thursday, you said? 10?
5-minute exec session.
He's working with them now.
In the earlier that are still want to get ready for.
We would have a public comment.
Yeah, we're getting ready to, that's what we're getting ready to do right now. So when Sean gets done, we'll do his executive session. Right now, we'll open it up for public comment. If you have a comment, please come up here and state your comment, your name and your comment, and we'll limit it to 5 minutes per conversation.
Hi, my name is Donnie Moats, and I've been talking with a lot of people at Sugar Valley. We need to know what you guys can do about the crime. I've talked to police officers. They said, the county won't let us touch you guys. We have drug dealers and thieves all over our neighborhood. It's not even members of the Sugar Valley. We got drug houses that's been raided, and the guys are back out on the street selling again. We had a house get burned down a couple weeks ago. That chick's already moved in with another drug house, and that's all it's been. And every time we've asked the cops to do something, we can't do the things the county won't let us. Now, I know Bourbon County went into Hidden Valley and put street signs up, and they're patrolling. They're making all kinds of money to Bourbon County now. But why can't we do it? The taxpayers are the ones that are suffering. The ones that are causing the problems that aren't taxpayers. They don't own property. They don't own nothing. And we're all being suffered. We get things stolen out of our yards every night. We got people going up and down the street at 2 o'clock in the morning, loud as hell, going to the dope houses, and nobody does nothing about it. I've gone to the dope houses and told them they ain't cool as shit, but I'm only one person. Now there's been talk about protesting our taxes next year until this gets solved. And there's a lot of taxpayers in Sugar Valley that are really tired of it because we're going to pay our taxes and we get nothing coming out of it. So we need to know what you guys going to do about it.
Well, I believe, if there's a crime that's committed, the sheriff's department shows up, do they not?
They said we can't go in there. They said not without probable cause. One of the houses that's in the matter of speaking has a guy that's held house arrest there. His grandfather owns a house, and he's a registered drug abuser. And they got 5 or 6 different drug dealers living in that house, and nobody does anything about it.
Well, that's over our pay grade. I think that's more of a county attorney's question. I believe that has nothing to do with us. If there's a crime committed,
There's something you guys could do about maybe going in there donating street signs so then the police can patrol. They said that's their biggest thing is the county won't donate the signs to Sugar Valley to get the signs up.
Well, I don't believe Sugar Valley's ever came in and asked because we've donated signs to another lake organization around here.
I know Hidden Valley, like I said, Hidden Valley and Bourbon County came to agreement, and they're making all kinds of money off of Hidden Valley now. I've already talked to the people down there. They're making good money and making good arrests down there. And the crime's down a lot down there. But I'm speaking from a group of us that's already appointed me. I got the neighborhood watch in my neighborhood, and they're tired of paying taxes, while the people that are not paying taxes are getting away with everything over there. And we are seriously talking about protesting taxes next year until this gets solved.
Like I said, I think that's more of a county attorney question. I believe.
But don't you guys all work together?
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
The drugs are not just staying in Sugar Valley. They're coming to Mount City.
We're not law enforcement. We can't,
No, but you guys can help push this, get them out there and start doing something instead of them saying, well, we can't do nothing because the county commissioners and the county attorney won't do nothing. Well, that's what I've been hearing from all the police officers.
Yeah,
I got a 10-year-old boy that can't play outside all the time because we got drug dealers next street over. And it's, like I said, it's pouring out to Pleasanton and everything else because their thought is the cops don't patrol here so we can do what we want to do. So it's a safer place to deal drugs because the cops don't interfere. And the cops keep telling me, go to your commission meeting, talk to them. We can't do nothing.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that's all about, but if there's a crime being committed.
I know this is in your commission. Sugar Valley's part of your group.
I understand that.
And we've got taxpayers. And my neighborhood, the average person there, I'm the youngest one, I'm 50 years old. But then you got all the little drug heads that's running around there. And the ones that had their house raided 3 times this year, and they're still out selling drugs. Registered drug offenders on the Kansas registry, and they're selling drugs, and the cops think we know it. But we can't do nothing because our hands are tied. So maybe it's time that we do work together. Maybe you guys talk with Sugar Valley. Tracy Brown, she's the manager up there. She's a good manager. Maybe you guys talk to her and see what you guys can do together to start routing this out before somebody gets hurt. Meth is not a fun business, and meth is very dangerous. And when it comes to meth, it comes to the thieves, because the thieves are stealing to pay for that drugs. That's all I'm asking, that you guys start thinking together, working together, maybe get with Sugar Valley, maybe get the county attorney. Let's work together and solve this problem.
All right, we appreciate your comment. We'll, Beck, you've been heard, so I appreciate you coming in. Anybody else?
Tom Kemper, Parker. I had already left the July 22nd meeting, but I watched it on YouTube. You brought up, Danny, the open-mindedness of these voluntary members of these groups, and you brought up a gal by the name of Charlene Sims saying that she wasn't open-minded. It's obvious you have not been to a planning and zoning meeting, because she's probably the most open-minded one of them all. If you look at an email I sent the three of you a while back, I pointed out some members you might want to look at that are very closed-minded. Then my other thing is, I think I heard, or I was wondering if this removal or this attempt to remove was due to the fact that she filed a CORA request. The other thing, I don't know, but I will find out, I suspicion she's probably on the wrong side of the solar deal, which I know is very divisive in this county right now, but we still have to have people that are open-minded, whether you agree with them or not. I can tell you this, I've disagreed with her probably more than I've agreed with her, but for the people that you have on that planning and zoning, I'll guarantee you she's probably more open-minded than any of them. And I know the motion didn't pass. And I hope this was an attempt to maybe swing the balance of the planning and zoning, because we got the solar deal coming up. We'll find out after the election, maybe, if you know, is there going to be any more retribution to her? I don't know. Anyways, the other thing I had comments about, this core deal has been weeks. Is this public information once this stuff comes out? I think I read where the sheriffs asked for all the phones. They've had them a couple of weeks now. They should have been able to determine if there was communications in and out. I don't know where it goes from there. I'm just wondering, surely there's got to be a report at some point. Other than that, the other thing is, just today you had a young lady up here talking about whether we need to get rid of the board or keep a board. You guys have several boards in this county where these people volunteer to help out. Okay. Now, the thing is when these people don't show up, that's your jobs to reappoint other people. Okay, that's your jobs to do that. If they're not showing up, they're not participating, then choose somebody else. And I know it's not, sometimes it's hard to get these people to do these things. But here again, I'm going to bring up something else. Last January, you voted to get rid of 7 fire board members. I'll guarantee you they don't have an absentee problem. Think about this in the whole picture here. Any one of these guys that's got a board, what happens if they quit, take a job somewhere else, move on down the road? You've got nobody, like on the fire department, you've got nobody to kind of help you. It takes some time to hire somebody else and get somebody up to speed. And you've got rid of all these people. So just want to bring these things up, and hopefully you're thinking about them a little bit. That's it for now.
I'm Sharon with Linn County Park. I do agree on volunteers that could help out from 1 or 2 times a year at our Linn County Park for sure. Because it's a lot of property there. I really feel we used to have volunteers sign off on a waiver that they're not responsible if they get hurt. Now, if a volunteer wants to volunteer, ask them if they have health insurance. If they don't, then I wouldn't let them volunteer. I'd be choosy on who kind of volunteers. And if they have insurance, that's better than somebody that wouldn't to volunteer in the park. There's a lot of light duty stuff that people could help with. I don't expect them to do dangerous stuff or anything like that. And the other thing is, with or without a gate to our park, there are some roads going in from Valley Road that actually, some of the trees, the campers that come in, they're going to hit the top of their campers, even on Valley Road and inside the park, that need to be done yearly, for the campers that come in and out. And on the way to the bathhouse, there are a couple of drop-off, kind of like small ditches, if you will. Before you get to the bathhouse, there's like 2 of them. One's worse than the other one. I'm not talking about after the bathhouse, the culvert bridge. I'm not talking specifically right now on that particular one. What I'm talking about are the 2 small areas before the bathhouse on the right-hand side as you come into the park. It's pretty close to the bathhouse. There's some drop-offs that are giving way, kind of like a sinkhole, not drastic like a sinkhole, but is giving away to where a camper, if it goes enough on the edge, the road can literally collapse. It's getting worse and worse over the last 2 weeks, I've noticed. And so if we could put maybe some, until we get it fixed, put some cones that people don't get close to that area on the road, and give them a forewarning until it can actually get fixed. I know you have a project that should be logged off and taken care of and not let go. You've got the lagoons you're working on. That's taken forever. You're working on burning down the rental house. You're working on whatever else. But I tell you what, get it checked off your log list instead of always having to go back to projects. But at least put some cones where the roads, ditches there are bad, so campers have a warning. And when you fix the road, you might have to close off part of the road, obviously, but I don't want them to sink and get taken off the road, no matter if they live there or come and go. Okay, it's getting to that point, and the roads are gonna naturally get washed up, and the park is 40 some years old. Any house that needs to be repaired, whether you own it or somebody else owns it, you get it taken care of and not let it be a high risk for a further expense down the road. The swimming beach, okay, I would not want my child swimming in a bacterial water that can get people sick. There's already people swimming from fishermen telling me that there are swimming in the hot water discharge where the current is, and also fishing illegally. The game warden doesn't want to come out to the park, whether it's to kill an alligator that got dropped off, and the game warden doesn't want to come in to fix a deer that is deathly sick and stinking up now. They have been notified. The game warden, I understand he's,
We gotta hurry up and finish this up, please.
I'm sorry, but if he's not doing his job, do somebody. I don't care if a ball game is on or not. Okay? So the swimming area, who's going to patrol it after the marina closes? Or even before, because you open up the small beach area and the water like that, you're going to have more trouble later on down the road. We do have a water park that is cleaner and healthier by the bathhouse than swimming in a bacteria lake. And then at night, people are going to just say, oh, they're not going to be restricted to a beach area. They're going to expand their horizons and go over toward the hot water discharge. That's a danger. If you want that, fine. That's what I have to say. Be careful, be wise, and don't create a bunch of bills. Okay?
Anybody else want to tell us what we're not doing right here? Please come up and state it. Jesus Christ. Wow. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind closed doors that within the county that is county business that people don't see. I'm sorry, I don't talk any louder. I apologize. I don't know what you want me to do. This is ridiculous. Maybe we can invite somebody here to tell us what we've done right for the county. Maybe we can feel good about ourselves or something. I don't know. Fucking ridiculous. Public comments closed. Did anybody else got anything?
We got a 5 minutes executive session.
Sean, do you have something else?
If you are.
I'll make a motion to go into executive session for 5 minutes for non-elected personnel with Sean.
I'll second it.
Motion been moved, second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
hours.
Till noon. Yeah. Yeah, we have to shut down at noon and get everything ready to go this evening.
Funny bone.
It's gonna be a busy afternoon.
I bet it is.
All right, we're back from executive session. We had no action. David, next thing we have here is discuss budgets.
Well, and I just, last week I mentioned 2 or 3 of them that I'd still need to get some answers from you guys on which way to go, like with the STARS donation, if we're doing that or not. The mental health, what kind of number we need to put in that. Just please be thinking about some of those things. I tell you what I can really do at this point is go ahead and put like the requested numbers in the budget, and then you have you guys look at reductions from that if that's the way you want to go. But I gotta get some numbers put in there.
Let's do that. Let's go ahead and get those numbers in, and then that'll allow us to see the big picture and everything that way, and we can start cutting from there, right?
Do you want to put what we like mental health? We did what 68 last year,
Yep.
and they asked 125 or 28 this year.
Right. So
Do
did
you
you
want to go to
look
68?
well,
They whatever was sent over, I it was something unpaid. I still wanted to see what the numbers was per.
All I seen was what they'd requested.
Requested.
Not what they got last year. Did I miss something on everybody's? I mean,
we didn't have that part.
yeah,
So
but I thought he
hang
sent
on.
us something.
He sent us,
There was
unpaid claims or something.
something we got last
Yeah,
week.
from
that I
them,
said,
what they had requested from everybody this year.
okay, we don't have that.
Yeah, that's the unpaid claims, right?
Right. We still don't have that information.
Yeah.
What he asked from everyone.
So it's got the funding request that they asked
Yeah,
on a line item here.
but they don't have what they gave last year.
Correct.
From everybody.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I want.
They asked, we had what they requested from all counties, but what, we do not have where they were last year.
So we need to follow up on it.
So how many people they saw last year from each county and what they requested? It's kind of what right? So we can kind of see what we're paying per dollar.
That's kind of what we based ours off of last year.
Yeah.
That is what we based ours off of last year.
And I didn't talk to Nate. I talked to Job. I think it's Job. Nathan was out of town, so I talked to his team. So I can reach back out to him. I got the Job's phone number, and I can ask him for those, try to get that over. So they had
STARS going to get us a number.
Yeah, he was still working with the other entities involved to try to figure out, his thing. And he just wanted a for sure date, which is 2 weeks from now. We have to have it. So I was going to let him know. And he said
It has to be
you guys
published, right? Not,
I need to publish it that. We can talk about it in the meeting 2 weeks from today. I'll have it ready for a publication, and if you change things at that, I'll change it and then publish.
okay.
But it needs to get in the paper that week.
Right.
To have time to have it out for 10 days before we.
Yeah.
Something this week.
So is it safe to say on the STARS, it wouldn't be any more than we put into it last year?
Right.
So that'd be like a max I'd want to put in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I think those are the bigger ones that'll
And like,
kind of get me to where I need to be.
so on the mental health, they were asking for a 3% increase on their ask. I don't have a problem
With on the
Going.
budgeted.
going with a 3%. Yes.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
With a 3% over our 68,000.
And
Go with that.
pushing that number in.
68%, 3% on it.
So
Use that
71. Yeah.
for now. And
I'll share that with him and let him know that's kind of where we're at. We're going to really
Okay.
work with that number and see what they have to say.
Right.
As long as
Right.
you guys are good with that.
That's kind of where I want to be.
Which puts that at what, David?
I don't have all those
Oh,
numbers
sorry.
in front of me, but
You calculator?
About 69 something.
68 times 103. Hang on.
$70,040.
Okay.
So we'd be talking around 70.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm good with that. Do we need to tentatively approve that, or just want to get the answer?
No, I'm trying to get some numbers I can plug in right now, and you guys can look at it and dissect it when I get them put together. But
Okay. That'll be fine.
I don't think I have anything else on my list.
Let's see if there were. And any guesses on like counselor or what to try to plan on that for a budget for next year?
Based on the contract we signed with our last one, what would that have been, put him at yearly?
It just depends on how many hours they're used, because it was purely an hourly, and his was, I think, cheaper than a lot of attorneys are going to be. Now, we may be able to find some more that would do it in that range, but a lot of them won't.
Right. Have you had any?
No, it totally slipped my mind to reach out to him until you just mentioned it. But he is
Gary, 170 some.
175. Yeah, Gary was 250.
Yeah, he was around 2.
Okay.
But he had a salaried amount and hours in that one.
Right.
So should we just figure in 200 times the average amount we had for Mark of hours a week? What did he run a week? 10?
More than that.
He went over 10. I mean, it was costing us more than 10 hours.
Yeah, I think it was probably more than that. And some of that's going to depend on time of year and what's going on too.
But we're going to be, if we're starting out new and everything that way, we're going to be putting more of a workload on them, getting them up to speed and things that way, right?
Are you guys thinking just a contract arrangement and not an employee arrangement?
Yes.
Okay, so I can work something up off that.
Okay. That is what I'm thinking.
Because that makes a difference in multiple areas.
Okay.
And I'm not sure if I got to mentioning it last week, but we had that EMS budget that we used to use. Basically, if somebody wanted to take EMT training, which we're kind of gotten away from that, but the idea was maybe use that now for some fire or.
And I think we said
somebody else. Did we talk?
We were okay with that.
Okay, so just leave that one kind of like it was, and it's some training money that's available that way.
Correct.
Okay.
For emergency
12,000.
personnel.
Okay. Okay.
Once that gets going, I think it's volume solution. So I think we'll start
Okay, I think that's probably going to get me to where I can work with some stuff.
You guys have anything else?
I don't have it.
I don't.
David, good?
Yeah.
So you're setting up for election now, or getting ready for that? Huh?
I've still got a bunch of poll books to program and get some stuff set up in here and get things ready to go today. We quit voting at noon, and I have to wait till after that to program the poll books.
You got all your spots filled? You need help?
We're good as of this morning. So you never know what might happen between now and tomorrow.
All right. Sean, you got anything else? Randy? All right. Well, I'll make a motion. We adjourn.
I'll second it.
Motion. Been moving second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I appreciate the quick meeting today.
Sean, do you need this? I mean, so the first one we had of these had these as in for services, and then now we're being billed for it. That's kind of where I'm at. Just want to see what this is. You know what I mean? And I know it's not gonna be perfect, but.
Well,
So you don't talk.
it's to make something, you guys, if I get it out because I was in the room, so I didn't ask him to come here today. And all I can do, but I can get him back in the room and we can get it worked out quickly.
You know, and, you know, if we need to put a contingency fund so that we don't have to keep, you know, if we had estimated numbers and then have a contingency fund set aside for it, which I think would help with